Darryl, 3 games in all competitions, you've had a look. What do you think?
I think we're very unfortunate not to have picked up a win, if I'm honest with you, certainly in the last 2 games, Sunderland and at home. I watched the game back, sat this game. While I'm not in control of the game, they had more possession than us, but we certainly created the better chances on the day. So could have gone our way, but we have to make things go our way, if that makes sense. And we have to keep improving, being more ruthless, certainly in the final third when them opportunities do come along, and maybe a bit of a rub in the green as well. We've hit the post, we've hit the crossbar. Devante's gone through 1v1 1-on-1 in the first 5 minutes and he's 2 yards onside. Little 1 or 2 things that you need to go in your favour also helps the cause, but we can't blame that. We have to, like I said, we have to make things happen.
How frustrated does that leave you? 1, because things like luck you can't do much about, and 2, you keep saying you don't like going in there and giving the players hard luck stories.
No, we don't. And like I said to my players, about dealing with it, isn't it? We look at the Sunderland game and you have to deal with that mentally after the bad decisions, and the team's done that, which is a good sign. And I think as well as being maybe frustrated with missing 1 or 2 chances Saturday, the team's kept going. Devante nearly scores in injury time, so that shows that the confidence and belief in the squads was good. The mentality is pretty good, but so it should be. But it's only been 7 days, so loads of areas where we need to improve on. Some of the players that have come into the club have started really well on a positive. Others need to do a bit better, but I'm sure even at the top level of the Premier League they'll be saying exactly the same thing, where they spend a hell of a lot of money at the top levels.
When we did the pre-season special a few days before the season started, we spoke about if you got enough goals. What are you thinking at the top end?
I think going over what I've just said there, I think your thickness of the post, aren't you, twice? You're a goal against Sunderland that should never be chalked off. You're a great save from the keeper in the last minute. I'm more worried if you're not creating chances, I must admit, but the longer it goes on where we're not hitting the back of the net, it becomes a worry. But I will be bringing a centre forward in. I think that is a definite before the end of the season. Might be bringing one in later today. We'll see how that goes. We're further down the line, quite far down the line of that, and that's certainly in the attacking third that we want to have different options that keeps it fresh. It's a long season, and we certainly want players that can do damage in the final third.
I could sit here now and throw about 200 names at you, but you're still not going to give us an answer as to who it is. What kind of model of striker? No,
because it'd be disrespectful. I mean, it won't be a centre forward coming in today, but there will be one coming in for the window. I'm after a centre forward, as everybody say, can score goals, but lives on the shoulder a little bit, good in the box. Everyone's looking for that 20-man goal scorer. I believe we've already got it in our squad, to be honest with you. But the more you can get that can potentially get those 20 goals, the better strike force you have. And I always look at it in a way is, if you want to be successful, you've got to get at least 35, 40 goals in your strike force, your forward-thinking players. And normally, Cheltenham was a bit of an exception last season with their top goal scorer being on 8 goals. I think you've got to try and get 40 goals in your strike force, and I don't give a monkey's how that happens. But that's what we're sort of looking at, the 35-40 mark, and we need another centre forward coming into the club to help that cause.
Is it a deal that's virtually done? How far along are you with it?
Corey, you're getting very excited, aren't you? I wish I never mentioned that. Listen, we'll see. Yes, I don't want to get hopes up. We're very, very close down the line, but these things can hit the buffers at the last minute, so probably should have said but hey ho.
You say you've already got you believe you've already got a 20-goal a season man in the squad. I'm assuming you're pointing at James Wilson there.
I think listen, for me, I mentioned it in the pre-season. James Wilson is more than capable of scoring 20 goals. Devante, Rodney, they're going to get opportunities to be able to score 20 goals. My team's 9 times out of 10. I mean, we've created numerous chances over the last 2 games. We're a team that likes to get it forward, get crosses in the box, work hard on set pieces. So they're going to get opportunities to score goals. I think I'd be very worried if I was a centre forward if we weren't creating opportunities. And they potentially have that in the locker. Hopefully that comes to fruition.
The team without Tom Conlon in the past, we've said, is a very different team. What do you make of how you've covered the last 2?
Everybody assessed the performances, I suppose. My personal opinion is going on to what we first spoke about. It's very fine lines. We need to capitalise on them fine lines and a bit of luck.
Carlisle at home tomorrow. What are you thinking? Are you thinking of mixing it up? Are you thinking, like you said, fine lines? You're not too far away.
Yeah, listen, a lot of thought process. I watched their game, Swindon versus Carlisle on Saturday. Thought they deserved to win the game. They're an aggressive team, aggressive second ball team with some good quality. So we respect those, but we want to get our 3 points, first 3 points of the season in the bank. It's going to be a tough game, we know that. Every game in this division's tough. We're still very much early days, but if we can create the amount of chances we probably have in the last 2 games, we'll be a bit more ruthless, but make sure that we're still strong defensively, we'll have a great chance.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Thank you.
Darryl, obviously you've already alluded to you want to cut more players in, and you've said a striker, you've made that very positive, but you did suggest in other conversations you've had possibly a winger. Is that still in your thoughts?
Yes. Yeah, that's still in my thoughts.
From that point of view, is it going to be in the loan market you're touching into now, or is it against maybe a permanent deal for either?
Yeah, more than likely be loans.
And as we look ahead towards the game coming up now, you utilise, particularly you've changed the combinations, right, and people have been pretty impressed with that. And I said to you on Saturday, that's the versatility of the squad you've got, isn't it?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, we had worked on Tranmere being a 4-2-3-1. To be honest with you, we worked on them sort of playing the same team they started the first 2 games of the season with, and then they went into a back 3, which shows Mickey Mellon's got flexibility within his squad. The beauty for me is we changed to a 4-3-3 when we got their team sheet, because I wanted 3 up against their back 3 to hurt them. And I think we started the game pretty positive, but then Tranmere got a bit of a foothold in it. It wasn't a game I was ever comfortable on the sideline, if I'm honest. I didn't think we'd had enough control of the ball within the game, but like I said, I think we still had the best chances of the game.
Was that one of the criticisms, Darryl, that you didn't utilise the last pass or the final pass when you got in those positions? Maybe.
It's difficult to say that, isn't it? When you've had a couple of efforts that hit the woodwork, the keeper's pulled a great save off. So we're talking different, aren't we? I know it's all, if my auntie she'd be my uncle, yes. But it's facts, isn't it? It's absolutely facts. You know, all of a sudden they go the right way for you. Your 3 goals, but it hasn't happened. And when it hasn't happened, there'll always be questions asked of why it hasn't happened. But like I said, a little bit more ruthless in the final third, better with a final pass, and a little bit of Donald, which everybody needs.
From your point of view, though, there's been some pluses throughout the 3 games, hasn't there? Really, despite the defeat at Northampton, there's been a lot of pluses in these.
A lot of pluses, George. But the game's about winning. That's what it is about, isn't it? We could have, if we'd have scraped 3 wins, I'd have been more delighted, absolutely delighted, than what I am now. Even though some of the performances in the first 3 games have been okay, not exceptional by any stretch of the imagination. We have to get better. The squad knows that. We all understand that, and we will get better. So disappointing, but pleased with 1 or 2 of the performances.
But the crowd enjoyed it, and they certainly got behind you, and that you could feel that lift going onto the pitch in more ways than what. Couldn't you, Dan?
Yeah,
see the way the players reacted.
Yeah, and that's the key. We want to get that momentum. We want to get the win for them. It's not all about the fans getting us going, but if we got to get our fans going, and if we can, like we did Saturday a little bit to a certain extent, we can get this place rocking. I've seen clubs before that are well supported like we are. If you can get the home fans going and get them off the seat and they're enjoying the football, they can be that 12th man, and we need to do that by winning games.
Just touching on Carlisle, he said they've had a decent start, haven't they, really? Have you already said they can be a dangerous side, but again, and you said it many times, it's what you do, but you've done your homework all the while, haven't you, though?
You got to, George, you got to respect the opposition. Carlisle are a very aggressive second ball team, good runners from midfield, good forward thinking players. We know it's going to be a tough game. They did. For a lot of last season, they're in the top 7, weren't they? I think it was second by Christmas and Jan, and then the COVID hit them, and then they finished the season very strongly. So we're very respectful of that, but we have to take care of our own business. We're at home. We want to be on the front foot. No doubt. Hopefully, it's a good game.
And finally, Ben Garrett, what an engine he's got. You did allude to me on Saturday. It's one of these type of players that could be an unsung hero, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
doesn't have that sort of
no
Hollywood touch, if you like.
No, by signing with his energy, his energy, he will get better as well. He's not had much league experience, don't forget. And for me, you need players with energy. Him, Tom Conlon and Tom Pett are comfortably, very, very comfortable hitting high distance in your midfield, and when you've got that and you've got fitness levels like those 3 boys have got, you can outrun teams in the middle of the park, and hopefully that comes to fruition when Tom comes back and we get we're making sure that our midfield are covering the mileage.